Hey everybody, it's Attorney General Chris Mays. We are responsible here at the Attorney General's office for making sure that we go after scammers and fraudsters and protect consumers under the Arizona Consumer Fraud Act. My team and I are here today to answer your questions.
Hey, I'm Vinny Venkat.
Hi, I'm Suzanne Pendergast.
I'm Mitchell.
I am Elise.
Hi, I'm Dylan.
My name's Amanda Salvioni, and I work at the Arizona Attorney General's office
In the Consumer Protection and Advocacy section.
And I'm here to answer some of your questions.
And I'm here to answer some of your consumer questions.
I'm here to answer some of your consumer questions.
The question is, how and where should I report a fraud or scam if it has happened to me or my family? Well, the first thing to do is definitely report it to us here at the Attorney General's office. You can go to www.azag.gov or 602-542-5763. Give us a call, let us know, make sure you report it to us. We'll review it, take a look at it, and get to work trying to get your money back for you if we can.
Another question that you have is, how do I help my parents from getting scammed? Have an open dialogue with them. Keep them informed of some of the alerts that you see throughout the news on what types of scams are current. Also, help them get on the do not call registry and get them mentally prepared that there are scammers out there that may be targeting them. I would also say you can help them review their finances to make sure that nobody is taking money out of their account without their knowledge.
Which one am I looking at? How do I know if a door-to-door solar company is legit? Well, the best way to know is if you do some research. Look them up online. Talk to your friends and family or anyone else who's done business with them. And always remember, you don't need to buy now. Any deal you get, you can usually get something comparable later. So take your time, do some research, and then you can be confident that the company is legit.
All right, question. Can landlords just up rent randomly? Well, if you have a lease with your landlord, during the term of the lease, you should already know what your rent is. And no, the landlord cannot just randomly up your rent while you're in your lease. However, if you're getting to a lease renewal or your lease is expired, at that point, yes, the landlord can increase your rent. In Arizona, we do not have rent controls in place to limit the amount a landlord could increase your rent. Typically, landlords would increase rent based on the consumer price index and try to raise it incrementally between each term. However, there's not a requirement for what that amount is.
Does the AG follow up on huge data breaches? So under the law, corporations are required to inform the AG's offices about certain data breaches, and for the more severe breaches, the AG's office may follow up to request more information on the types of data that was breached, or would open an investigation into that breach.
Who should I call if I think a moving company stole some of my belongings from me? If you think a moving company stole some of your belongings from you, you should call the police and file a report. You may also want to contact your homeowner's insurance or renter's insurance to see if they may be able to reimburse you for some of your loss. We also suggest that you file a complaint with the Arizona Attorney General's office at www.azag.gov. I just did a video on tips for moving scams, which you can find on our social media channels.
Our next question is, what happens after I submit a complaint to the Attorney General's office? Well, after you submit a complaint to us, we get to work trying to help you and trying to investigate what has gone on. So our consumer section takes in the complaint, looks to make sure that we have jurisdiction over it. Then we put it through our informal dispute resolution process. It means basically we go to work trying to see whether we can get your money back for you. And then we also track all of the complaints that come into our office to see if there's any trends going on or if there's repeat offenders. And if there are, we can go after those offenders under the Arizona Consumer Fraud Act. So please let us know if you think you've been the victim of a fraud or a scam. We want to know about it And you never know, you might actually get me on the phone. Hello, good afternoon. This is Attorney General Chris Mays. Can I help you?
Is there a way to know if my student loans are really switching servicers? Good question. So the best way to tell is probably just to call your student loan servicer. They'll be able to tell you whether or not it's legit. Though, it's probably a good idea to look up their phone number online. If you get an email, don't click the link because sometimes those link to the wrong places. It might look like it's your servicer, but it links to something that is set up by a scammer. So it's pretty good to call a number you can Google or look up online, and then that will make sure you go to the right location.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Is there government support to remedy the money lost? Yes, there can be. It depends on who the consumer is complaining against. So here at the AG's office, we don't have a fund, just a general fund to pay consumers restitution in all circumstances. However, other state agencies like Arizona Department of Real Estate, Arizona Secretary of State, and the Registrar of Contractors, they may have a bond requirement for industries that require a license like real estate agents or contractors. So generally we work to get the consumer's money back. And sometimes that can just be voluntarily provided by the business or the individual when we forward them a complaint. And sometimes that can be through a lawsuit.
All right, so why don't I ever get my security deposit back? Like, can they charge me more than what they call damages? Well, a lot of times you won't get your security deposit back if in the lease it said it was non-refundable. However, there could be damages that were done to the property besides normal wear and tear that would be something a landlord could charge for you. At the same point, there are landlords out there that'll try to keep your deposit when they shouldn't, and they need to give you an itemization of what they're charging you for in a certain amount of time after you vacate the premise so that you can actually see what it is they're deducting from your deposit. So if you're someone who normally keeps your property in good order and you don't have any damages that you think are there, you kept pictures when you moved in and moved out and it looks substantially the same, and your landlord's still not working with you to return your deposit, you can file a complaint with the Consumer Protection and Advocacy section of the Attorney General's office so that we can help you work through this.
What are the newest scams out there targeting seniors? That's a very good question. So new scams and old scams, they're all relatively the same. Beware of unsolicited calls requesting personal information. Beware of some calls that you get saying that they're a grandchild in need of aid. Also, calls from governmental agencies such as the IRS, Medicare, and Social Security. They will not call or text you. These calls from these governmental agencies requesting personal information and or banking information are likely fraud and scams.
How can I tell if my car really needs fixing or I'm just being pushed into spending more money? This is a tough question and it can be hard to know in some situations. Before you take your car to a repair shop, you should ask friends and family for ideas of reputable places to go. You may also want to check online reviews or websites such as the Better Business Bureau to see what other consumers have reported relating to that business. In addition, if you feel like you're not trusting what you're told once you've gone to a place, you may want to get a second opinion, perhaps bring your vehicle to a different shop to get looked at.
Why am I getting so many robocalls? Well, you're getting so many robocalls because businesses and scammers use robocalls to try to get your money. So it's just an inexpensive way of contacting a lot of people all at once. Now, as for why you might see an increase in robocalls in the last few months, there could be a number of reasons for it. Sometimes it's just ebb and flow. There'll be an increase or decrease just going on at that time. But it could also be that you have maybe bought a service or something like that online and you've clicked a box saying that you're okay being robocalled. Another thing that could have happened is that you could have answered one of these robocalls and pushed a button or somehow responded. And when that happens, you're going to end up getting more robocalls. So there's a lot of reasons why you could be getting more of them. If you'd like to get less of them, we'd always recommend that people You put their phone number on the federal do not call registry. Try to avoid providing any information to businesses that would allow them to robocall you. Try to avoid answering robocalls. And also there are third-party apps that can block a lot of the robocalls and filter them out. So we would encourage everyone to go online, investigate what experts think are the best of these apps, and see if it might be right for you. Check out our other video on robocalls on our other social media channels.
Looks like this is our last question. How can I still see menus and safely use QR codes? So when you open your phone camera app, a lot of times you'll get this little notification that gives a little preview of the website you're about to click. Check to make sure that it's going to a website that would make sense for where you are, like the restaurant's webpage or square.com or Grubhub or something. But if you're concerned about it, just ask the restaurant for a paper menu. A lot of restaurants still have them lying around, because a lot of people don't have smartphones. QR codes are really easy to make, and you can just stick them anywhere in a city. You'll see them attached to parking meters, just lost dog stuff, just all around. Be skeptical if there's ever a QR code asking you for money, but otherwise, use common sense and check to see whether the website you're being taken to is legitimate, and have an antivirus software as a last resort.
Thank you, everybody, for submitting your questions to us. We hope this helped. If you have any other questions or you want to reach out to us, please come see us at www.azag.gov. Thanks so much for listening.